My name is Aisha. Today I'm 24 years old, but the scars I carry began when I was just 17. I was that student every parent dreams of and every teacher praises. Always first in class, always the one with perfect notes, always the girl who stayed back after school to help weaker students. My report cards were filled with excellent and topper remarks. My dream was clear and bright. I wanted to become a doctor. Not just any doctor. I wanted to treat poor patients for free, to open a small clinic in my town, and to make my parents proud. My father worked as a clerk in a government office. My mother was a homemaker. They sacrificed everything for my education. They skipped family functions, wore old clothes, and saved every rupee so I could attend the best coaching classes. Our daughter will become a doctor, they used to tell everyone with shining eyes. I studied 14 to 16 hours a day. Sleep felt like a luxury, but I never complained because I could see the hope in their eyes. In my final year of high school, Mrs. Sharma joined as our new chemistry teacher. She was in her early 40s, highly qualified, strict, and known for producing excellent board results. At first, I admired her deeply. She explained complex chemical reactions so beautifully that even average students started scoring well. Her classes felt like magic. I used to sit in the front row, writing down every word she spoke. But slowly, the magic turned into poison. Mrs. Sharma had clear favorites, mostly students whose parents were rich, influential, or gave her expensive gifts. She would give them extra notes, private doubt-clearing sessions after school, and even subtle hints about important exam questions. I noticed everything, but I stayed silent. I believed that true talent and hard work would always win in the end. The first crack appeared during a surprise test. I scored 98 out of 100, the highest in the entire class. When the answer sheets were returned, my marks had been reduced to 72. Mrs. Sharma had crossed out many of my correct answers with thick red ink and written wrong in bold letters. Some answers she had simply left blank, as if I had never written them. I was stunned. My hands were shaking when I went to her after class. "Ma'am, there must be some mistake," I said politely. "These answers are correct according to the textbook." She looked at me with cold eyes and replied, "Aisha, you're becoming too overconfident. You need to learn some humility. Marks are not everything." From that day onwards, my nightmare began. She started targeting me openly in class. She would ask me the hardest questions and smirk when I took even a few seconds to think. She would say things like, "Even the topper doesn't know this," in front of everyone. My classmates who once respected me started laughing along with her. My confidence began to crack. My internal assessment marks, which carried 20% weight in the final board exams, started dropping mysteriously. Assignments that I submitted perfectly were returned with low scores and vague comments like "not up to the mark" or "lack of effort." When I asked for explanations, she would simply say, "You think you're very smart, don't you?" I cried almost every night. My mother would hold me and say, "Beta, just focus on your studies. Everything will be fine." But deep inside, I knew something was terribly wrong. My father tried to meet Mrs. Sharma. He requested a parent-teacher meeting. She smiled sweetly in front of him and said, "Aisha is a good student, but she has become arrogant. She needs to improve her attitude." My father came back confused and worried. The final blow came during the practical examination. I had prepared for weeks. I knew every experiment by heart. But when I entered the lab, Mrs. Sharma gave me the most difficult and tricky experiment. While I was working, she kept changing the instructions midway. "No, do it this way. That's wrong. Start again." I got nervous. My hands started shaking. I made small calculation errors under pressure. When the practical result came, I was marked fail. Because of that single fail in practicals, my overall percentage dropped below the medical college cutoff by just 0.8%. All my years of hard work, all my parents' sacrifices, all my dreams of wearing a white coat vanished in one stroke. I still remember the day the results were announced. I stood frozen in the corridor while other students celebrated around me. My best friend hugged me and cried with me. I went home and locked myself in my room for 2 days. I didn't eat. I didn't speak. I just kept staring at my books and crying. Months later, I learnt the bitter truth from another teacher who felt guilty.
Mrs. Sharma had a personal grudge against my father. Many years ago, when my elder sister was in school, my father had complained about Mrs. Sharma's rude behavior in a parent-teacher meeting. She never forgot that insult. When she saw me, the topper, the daughter of the man who once challenged her, she decided to take revenge. She deliberately ruined my practical exam. She deliberately lowered my internal marks, all because of an old ego clash. I was just a 17-year-old girl. I had done nothing wrong, yet I became the victim of a teacher's revenge. The years that followed were the darkest of my life. I joined a regular BSc college with average marks. The girl who once loved studying now felt anxious before every exam. The girl who dreamed of saving lives now struggled to save her own mental peace. I developed severe anxiety and depression. Many nights I thought about ending everything. My parents tried their best to support me, but I could see the disappointment and pain in their eyes. They had sacrificed so much, and I couldn't fulfill their dream. Today, I work as a school teacher in a small private school. I teach chemistry, the same subject that destroyed me. Every time I stand in front of my students, I remember Mrs. Sharma. I make sure I never become like her. I give extra attention to weak students. I never humiliate anyone. I try to be the teacher I desperately needed at 17. But the wound is still there. Sometimes late at night, I still wonder, what if Mrs. Sharma had supported me instead of destroying me? Where would I be today? Maybe I would be in a white coat treating patients in a government hospital. Maybe my parents would be telling everyone proudly, "Our daughter is a doctor." Instead, I carry this pain every single day. This is not just my story. This is the story of thousands of bright, talented students across India and many other countries whose dreams were crushed by teachers who misused their power. Teachers who play favorites, teachers who take personal revenge, teachers who destroy futures because of ego, jealousy, or greed. Education is supposed to uplift. It is supposed to nurture dreams. It is supposed to give wings to young minds. But when a teacher becomes cruel, when a teacher uses their authority as a weapon, they don't just fail one student, they fail the entire system. To every student watching this, if you are facing injustice from a teacher, please don't stay silent. Talk to your parents, talk to the principal, document everything. Your future is too precious to be destroyed by one person's ego. And to every teacher listening, please remember, the student standing in front of you is someone's entire world. They carry their parents' dreams, their own hopes, and years of hard work. Handle them with kindness and care. Your one cruel word or unfair mark can break a child forever. I lost my dream of becoming a doctor, but I gained something else. The strength to speak up, the courage to never let another student go through what I went through, and the wisdom to understand that real success is not just about marks or degrees. It is about becoming a better human being. If you are a student struggling right now, know this. One teacher's cruelty does not define your worth. You are more than your marks. You are more than one exam result. Keep going. The world is bigger than one classroom. And if you are a parent, please watch your children closely. Listen to them when they say they are being targeted. Your support can save their future. This is my story, a story of a bright girl whose dreams were stolen, a story of injustice in the name of education, a story that still hurts every single day, but also a story of survival, resilience, and quiet strength. Thank you for listening to my pain.